Welcome to Truth is Freedom. I'm Dennis Cummins here at Experience Church. So glad that you joined with us today. And today we're doing Q&A. People have written in and said, what do you think about this? And so Jasmine, director of our social media, what do you have for our next question?
So this is a leadership question, but when you're given a new responsibility in leadership, how much latitude do you have for your own personal opinion?
When you're given a leadership responsibility, how much latitude do you have in your own opinion? Okay, this is good. I love this. One of the most difficult parts, I think, for people to become great leaders is the ethical side. It's very hard to help people understand the ethics of ministry because leadership is always bestowed to somebody. If either God gives it to you or a man gives it to you. But I like what Pastor Gerald says, my pastor. He says, anytime authority is handed down, honor goes up.
Yeah.
And so what that means is like Pastor Batterson, my father-in-law, he founded this church.
Right.
He pioneered this church. My wife and I came on 1 year later. So I've been here almost 32 years. The church is almost 33 years in existence. So I still cannot sit here and say, I started this church. I didn't.
Right.
So I am under what he started, so I can never forget that. So therefore, when he handed me the authority of this church, I could never stop passing honor up to him to say thank you.
Right.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, because it was a gift given. Yes, I had to be a good steward. I have to show myself faithful, but yet it was something that was handed down to me. I didn't create it. So let me say it this way. Many times somebody will be given a position, a title, and too many people are caught up in a title or a position rather than understanding the responsibility. And one is
That's
like
good.
Dealing with, it's my significance. I've got this title. I've got this position, rather than, oh my Lord, I've got this responsibility. You know,
Yeah, the weight to it.
Yeah, as the pastor of this church, you know, people look at my title. I don't care about my title. I look at my responsibility.
Right.
Because my responsibility, I'm in charge of families, their welfare. I've got employees, I've got staff, paid staff. So it's not just the welfare of the church, it's the welfare of my staff, their children. There's a lot of pieces to this. I got Nepal, I've got staff there, like family and all of this. And so you look at all these pieces. Some people look at me and see title and position. I see a buttload of responsibility. Mm-hmm. And that buttload of responsibility can keep you up at night. So getting back to the question, when somebody bestows to you responsibility, and that's what I want you to see it as, not a title or position. Matter of fact, if somebody's after a title or position, I won't promote them. I don't care about that.
Right.
I would rather have somebody carry the responsibility and not care about the title and responsibility, because the title will come, the position will come if you're faithful in the little things, okay? But you can never forget, like the centurion, when the centurion came to Jesus and said, will you pray for my servant? Jesus said, I'll come to your house. He said, no. He says, I too am a man under authority. He didn't say I'm in authority. He didn't say I'm over all of these people. He says, I too am a man under authority. See, he saw that Jesus is under God's authority. He also sees that he's under his authority as a centurion. How did he get his title and position? Somebody gave it to him.
Yep.
So you can't be over somebody until you're under somebody.
Wow, that's good.
So I always like to say you have to get your under right before you can focus on your ovaries. Okay. Bad joke. Sorry, bad pun. But this is what we have to understand that we have to focus on. So many people are focused on the light and the mics that they get to hold and the people that watch them while they speak. And we're not understanding that we're there as a guest. We're there as a steward.
That's so good.
We're there as caretakers to make sure that we don't own this. And here's a couple of little signals that could be dangerous. Here's a couple of little signals that I hear. When I'm talking to people that are leaders, under leaders, I'll hear them say, my people, my team, my, especially when they get into, well, my people, I talk to my people. And I'm thinking, what are you, Moses? Let my people go? they're not your people. They're not my people. They're God's people. Yeah. And so they don't, even my staff, they don't work for me. They work with me. And that's just a mindset. It's a collective mindset. So anytime I hear people say, well, I talk to my people, I'm like, do you have your own thing going on? Is this something that you've established on your own? Because the last time I checked, I gave you that position. I gave you those people. And so therefore, they're not your people. They're not my people. They're God's people. We're just stewards over them. And so this is what keeps our heart clean. This is what keeps our heart right, because your latitude and your ability to make decisions when you're given that responsibility, I think it needs to start very narrowly. Don't go too broad, too quick, too fast. Even like when I took over the church, I couldn't make a lot of decisions right away. I couldn't make a lot of changes right away because I had to establish my credibility in that seat.
Right.
And so what that means is when I give somebody a title and responsibility, they better be passing honor back up. If not, they're going to lose that title and that responsibility, because that means they're in it for themselves. They're not in it to function in the organization. And so when they're coming back and saying, hey, Pastor, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Because when it's new, there's going to be a lot of conversation. There's going to be a lot of checking in. But then as we grow, then, it goes back to what John Maxwell talks about. First, you mentor, you show what you want done. Then you monitor and you make sure it's getting done. And then you let it happen. And so there's a process of getting more latitude through building trust. I like what Ronald Reagan said, trust, but verify.
Yep.
And so that has to happen. And you have to be willing to be verified. Like if you get asked questions by your leader and you get defensive, that's dangerous, because then you're being territorial. You're being territorial and you act like you're not accountable for the decisions that you're making. Well, why did you do this? Well, why are you asking? Don't you trust me? If you're a good leader, you should be able to defend logically and reasonably why you made those decisions.
Yep.
So we don't put our personal feelings in there. We should be allowed to have good banter, good talk, to be able to go down. Why? Because we're looking for the best decision. And if you made the best decision, you should be able to explain it and not be defensive over it.
Or taking an offense.
And walking away and saying, they don't trust me. Sometimes it's just little tests every now and then.
Yeah.
You're just checking in, seeing is the heart right still? Is the heart right still? So for me, it's never about the title or position. It's about understanding the responsibility. And the more I see under leaders understanding their responsibility and the weight of their responsibility, and having the joy of their responsibility, the more I can entrust to them. The less I'm involved with them, because I can focus on other areas. Right. And so those are those pieces that it's hard for people to understand, especially in church environments. In the corporate world, it's easy. If somebody doesn't, dance to the tune, you can fire them, let them go. Here's your papers. You're done. Bye. But see, in the church world, if you dismiss somebody, they're tied to families. Yep. They're tied to people. They're tied to friends. And suddenly you can really impact a church, even when you're making the right decision. So that's why we just want to make sure that we're slow. I would rather take my time and go without than to put the wrong person in the position. Well, but I really need somebody. I really need the help. No, you don't need the headache. So it would be better that you do it yourself or it not get done than to put the wrong person in there, because it's really hard to get the wrong person out. So these are the pieces that we really need to be cognizant of, paying attention of, because if you plan to be promoted, then you better know how to embrace the responsibility that God has given you through a leader, through whoever is over you in the Lord. And so honor that responsibility, honor that person, and show your gratitude to them, because you got to be under authority in order to be in authority over others in authority. So that's what I have to say.
Wow, that's great.
Awesome. Well, hey, what do they do? Like, subscribe,
comment, share it out.
What if they have questions?
We have our email open, and it is tif@experiencechurch.tv.
TIF is in Truth is Freedom. TIF at experiencechurch.tv. That information is at the bottom of the screen. And throw your question in here, and if it's a good one, I'll answer it. I might not know it. I might not know the answer, so I won't answer it. So I probably won't. But thank you for being a part of Truth is Freedom, and we will see you in our next episode. God bless.